So Hairline, before we get before we get into the press conference, um, our listeners, we have the best ones
Ugh,
in all the land. Shout out the PWT listeners, one
that's
of
true.
which is a
All of them.
jolly good gentleman from London, I believe, and his name is Paul Nolan. And shout out Paul Nolan. We'll plug his Instagram at Paul Nolan Sound on Instagram, and he makes music. And he
Check
was
it
not
out.
right, and he was not only at WrestleMania this past year, WrestleMania 39,
Nah, nah.
but he was also at All In Wembley, London, and he is from around the way. So he has a perspective of somebody who was, I don't know, he had boots on the ground. We were watching it from North America on television, as it were. He was at the event, and he can compare it to being in the event of WrestleMania, which Hairline and I both simply spectated. So we get the cultural significance of this event in the UK and in London and in Wembley and all of that. But objectively, so I see like the UK fans online, they're like, oh, but objectively, like, look a day later, and I know there's the Punk drama, but it wasn't the greatest event I don't even think AEW's ever put on. So like a lot of the UK fans are saying, but I get
Yeah.
it. You guys were there. Like, to me, WrestleMania 18 is the greatest of all time. It was in Toronto. Does that give me some bias? A little bit. It also had Hogan versus The Rock. That be, that being said, Paul Nolan, he wrote us this report, dude. He wrote us this huge report, boots on the ground, Hairline. And yeah, man, shout out our listeners. We have truly the best listeners, the top pod listeners in all the land, in all of professional wrestling. Hairline, are you ready
Facts.
for Paul Nolan's report? All in report.
Yeah. And hey, right before we get into this, I just want to say, like, there's a huge difference between like live wrestling and experiencing it, and then
Mhm.
watching it on television.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's more or less what you're trying to get at.
Right. And that's why we wanted to do this. And Paul Nolan offered, and by the way, folks, let me preface this by saying him and I had a discussion prior to him going to the event, and I had told him, listen, if you had the best time of your life and marked out and cried, I want you to write that. If the food was bad, I want you to write that. If the compare it to WrestleMania, but I want you to be honest. If it was the shit, say it was the shits. If it was the best thing you've ever done in your entire life, say it was the best thing you've ever done in your entire life. And he said, okay, that's what I was thinking too. He's like, I did not want to be biased in any way. So we were already on the same page, and it went without saying, but we did say it. So just so you listeners know, this guy is he's just doing his thing, man. So intro and pre-show thoughts. This is per Paul Nolan of PWT Insider. No, I'm just joking. So he wrote, this year I've had the privilege of attending both WrestleMania 39 Night 2 and AEW All In. I was genuinely fascinated as to what the differences would be between both events, and let me tell you, they couldn't be more different. At WrestleMania, there was a sense of genuine community across divides. I sat next to people from completely different backgrounds in every sense you can imagine, and I still made friends, united by the love of wrestling and spectacle. AEW, at least with All In, seems to attract a very singular crowd. These people are passionate about their version of pro wrestling history, which very much diverges from the WWE script. This guy's great. I love this. So he wrote regular EC dub
Yeah, this
chants.
is this is awesome.
This is awesome. So he wrote regular EC dub chants kind of tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, so they were regularly chanting EC dub chants in the arena. Hates that dude more than anyone.
But a fucking mark. Well,
Yeah,
like
it's
you
like, come
didn't
on,
live it,
man.
bro.
I know. And
I
why, like,
didn't like. Okay, I don't mean a side tangent here, but fucking, I was listening to Corny and fucking Brian Last talk about fucking Terry Funk and all that, and they were talking about how like half of the community was saying like, yeah, we also like saw him at Chainsaw Charlie. You know what I'm saying? So like, guys, it's okay to not be a poser. I'm not saying be a poser, but like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't live the fucking Onita fucking explosion match,
yeah,
so I
I'm a
don't
huge
pretend like I
Onita
do.
mark, but I didn't live it. I just watch his legend on Dark Side and I watch his matches on YouTube. I'm not a fucking like, I'm a mark for the story. It's like Bruce Lee. That shit happened in the 70s. I'm a mark for Bruce Lee, but I didn't experience, I don't know exactly what it was like to see it through that lens. And so it's crazy that you go there and all these millennials are chanting EC dub at
Mark.
an AE dub event for what? Was there one ECW wrestler on the whole show? Maybe Taz?
Yeah, Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy.
Yeah, Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Oh shit. So he writes, Paul Nolan writes, that being said, a lot of the fans I spoke to were here because it's Wembley, quote, and it's a chance to see some form of a large format of professional wrestling in whatever form it comes in. It's an event in and of itself and isn't entirely about AEW. It's about UK wrestling culture. Exactly what I said at the beginning personally. So continuing along. And there's also a lot of overlap between the WWE and AEW fan base. Of course, bro. Of course, WWE fans are going to be there. Smart, intelligent UK fans who can appreciate both approaches to the art form, who are equally capable of parsing out the bits of both promotions they don't enjoy and focus on what they love. Their aesthetic differences between
Boom.
the aesthetic differences between AEW and WWE on a scale like this couldn't be more stark. For starters, they had the nerve to play Cody's Kingdom theme tune on the PA before 0 hours started. Talk about I'm totally over my ex, bro. I've moved on. No, honestly, I have. Damn, they played Cody's Kingdom. I guess honor. I'm okay with it. Yeah, we have the right to our version. They have the WWE mix. So WWE willingly sacrificed up to 10,000 ticket sales at WrestleMania 39 in order to bring their level and quality. Ooh, hold on. This sentence is so important. What this guy spoke. WWE willingly sacrificed up to 10,000 ticket sales at WrestleMania 39 in order to bring the level of quality of production expected for such an event as WrestleMania. Woo! To be completely honest, AEW All In looked terrible in comparison. The production was almost non-existent, and the feeling in the stadium was that it felt cheap and extremely poor compared to Mania 39. Now, you can fairly say that AEW hasn't been around as long, yet when you consider the resources at Tony Khan's disposal, you can't say anything other than this was a deliberate aesthetic choice. From where I sat, AEW could have easily sold another 10K tickets, and there were large gaps on the floor between the stands and the floor section. Yeah, I've seen pictures of that as well. The production team made a great effort to make the show look amazing on the hard cam and covered the swaths of empty space. So, Hairline, do you think there was 81,000?
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I guess you got to accentuate the positives and yada, yada, 81,000. Yeah.
I believe it's 81,000. It's just like the arena can hold way more than that.
Yeah, because soccer can hold like 90 some. So if you can put
we've been
seats,
over this.
Yeah, if you can put seats on the pitch, then that means you're fitting 100K, So yeah, I bet you there was 20,000 empty seats, 80,000 people probably there. And then when Tony goes, probably around 90 with staff, probably more around like 80, 85,000, 80, like, in that range probably. But he's working the gimmick, brother. Live the life, man. You got to do it. Anyways, on to 0 hour. Grado. So there was a dark match. Grado versus Jeff Jarrett.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Grado. He was that Impact wrestler who was on the UK show, and he was a goofball. He's a comedy wrestler. So he came out and did a dark match, I guess, before the 0 hour. So Grado got a huge pop when he came out to squash Jeff Jarrett in a bit of a nothing match. He squashed Jarrett. Jesus. A little.
Okay. Oh, why would you fly out Jeff Jarrett just to job him out?
They don't care. A little inside baseball note. Very interesting. The AEW do not pull the ring canvas off between matches in the same way WWE do. For those wondering why it's a big deal, it's massively helpful in protecting against wrestlers contracting staph infections. I'm surprised he wrote it out. Staphylococcus infections. He wrote the shit. This guy's great. Paul Nolan, shout you out, brother. We should have him on the show too sometime, maybe just to talk.
He needs to do more reports.
Yeah, he asked. We could even get him to write because these are brilliant. I just really like this, But anyway, staph infections, and I'm surprised, given the money AEW is backed by, that they don't do the same and have a fresh canvas between matches. Do you want to know why, Paul? It's because AEW or Mark's like, no, but the blood will be on the canvas and it'll look cool for the main event, like in the Attitude Era. But that's what they say, is that WWE knows how many matches and are on previous, so they layer the ring with that many canvases and then they strip them off before each match, right? When UFC used to be on Fox, they'd fucking spray the canvas with this weird stuff to clean it off in between fights, like this paint shit. It's crazy. Moving on to Better Than You, Bebe versus Aussie Open. It was an okay match, and the match itself wasn't as interesting as the result, with Adam and Mox going over. Aussie Open are okay at best, a serviceable team that perform okay, but I wouldn't put them on the level of, say, Gable or Otis in WWE to make a direct comparison. Holy shit, this guy gets it, man.
Wow.
MJF is the biggest star in the company by an absolute mile. The reactions he gets are massive. Frankly, he needs to think seriously about leaving when his contract's up in order to take his career to the next level. He's outgrowing AEW at the rate he's developing. No wonder Aubrey Edwards has a "Don't You Know Who I Am" complex, as her name was chanted as she made her. Oh God, fucking March.
Oh man.
There are parts of this experience as an objective.
BCW.
Yeah. As an objective observer that really do speak to the AEW echo chamber theory a lot of wrestling critics online speak to. It very much feels like I'm interloping in some sort of ritual sacrifice ceremony.
Yeah, no shit.
Jesus. As someone who both works in the music industry and has done consultancy for a large PA company, I can reliably tell you as a trained audio engineer, the PA in the stadium is fucking awful. That's why we couldn't hear the crowd at home. The lacks impact because the music of the entrance isn't quite cutting through. Another production screw up for Hook versus Jack Perry. The limo arrives and it's not even shown on the video screens. Within 1 minute, they're already fighting on the roof of the limo. Like, why? Surely you build to that spot. This guy broke down the matches like we would do. He's like, the fans gave up on this match pretty quickly. I'm not sure why Aubrey has gloves on. There's no blood. They played Jim Ross's theme and he didn't even come out. They finally stripped the ring canvas after 0 hour. Tons of Austin 316 shirts. It feels like people who want an Attitude Era back. The event is 100% not sold out. There are huge empty sections on the upper tiers opposite of me. He sent photos of the empty seats. He's like, there's also pockets of empty seats all over the stadium, even in my section where it's well populated. The seats next to and immediately in front of me are empty. Yeah, dude, I went to a Dynamite. I had a whole row to myself on the floor opposite of the stage. Like, you couldn't make that up. Punk versus Joe. He writes, the single most hilarious match I've ever seen live.
Samoa Joseph.
The fans have absolutely zero idea how much they're being worked by Punk. An extremely mixed reaction. Joe's super over. It's absolutely insanely hilarious that entire subsection of wrestling culture have decided entirely by themselves that they are the smart fan, have not worked out just how much they've been worked by Phil Brooks, Philip Brooks, and Samoan Joseph. A year after Brawl Out, they still haven't worked out that he's got them exactly where he wants them. He's a heat magnet. The wanker spot's incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to say it because like they don't understand wrestling psychology, but you know, he went and said it there. You know?
And Paul says, unbelievably entertaining how the crowd doesn't see that they're effectively the butt of their own joke. Thank you, CM Punk. Thank you, MJF. It's so true. And yeah, that's what I've been saying too, man. This guy
that's what you were saying.
This guy gets it, man. What the fuck? We're on the same wavelength, bro. Shout you out, bro.
He's clearly a P drone.
Yeah, man. A P drone, man. A bro from the UK. So the 6-man starts, complete chaos.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know why I should give a shit. Jay White's a megastar who's being woefully underutilized. He stands out along MJF. This match is where the choreography becomes more apparent. The entire audience applauding sequences of coordinated moves rather than being emotionally invested in actual wrestling match with a believable feel like Joe versus Punk. Yeah, there you go, man, right there. This is another example of how AEW gaslights its own audience. Juice Robinson is a rough diamond in the rough. Don Callis is the Dom of AEW, crazy heat. In the ring, so he just breaks it all down. He's just like, the PA absolutely sucks. He's like, yeah, he said Don Callis is a heat magnet like Dom. Like, he gets the boot, he gets booed, he's not allowed to talk. You know, he's got heat.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bucks versus FTR. Interestingly, there were some boos for the Bucks as they came out. Here's the thing, man. The Bucks got heat too along with Punk. Like, they got, because here's the thing, people were super uninterested in them before, and then when they got in the brawl with Punk, people were interested in them, and then they didn't do anything with it. They pretended like it didn't happen, and then everyone just got uninterested with them. They don't understand that the Punk fans, you had heat with them, and you could have went and made money with that and got heat with everyone else. But instead, man, you guys are just too interested in doing your own thing. You know, but they did put FTR over, thank fuck. So anyways, I'm sorry, but they really do look like a Rockers tribute act here. The reaction isn't rabid. It's certainly not negative, but it's
Yeah,
not huge. FTR got a
they
much bigger reception.
so
That's what I said.
they were supposed to be Freddie Mercury. That's what they were doing.
Oh, like Emi
Yeah, fucking Marks.
Sakamura? Like Emi
Yeah,
Sakamura?
yeah, 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 yeah. She was like, "Oh, I do that first. What
Yeah,
the
she's like, "Oh, you
hell?"
stole my gimmick." As the show progressed, you get a feeling it's just washing over the crowd who are just happy to be here. The funniest chant was "Na na na na."
Out of their mom's basement.
Wheeler's got a gun. FTR clearly more over than the Bucks. Nick Jackson does a dive to mid-size. So far, Bucks is running the crowd flat. Feels like Tony front loaded the card. Spike pile driver should have won it. He's going over the spots. FTR wins the right decision. They're decisively more over. Exactly. Stadium Stampede. Pyro for Orange Cassidy, the first of any talent on the card, confirms Tony loves the guy. Fuck my life. This match is a fucking joke. Can't see a fucking thing, and the camera keeps cutting every 5 seconds to the big screen, and it's almost impossible to follow the action. The amount of tape Cassidy's wearing means he's clearly working with a significant injury. I can't help but feel sorry for Claudio in this. What an epic waste of talent. This match is a fucking shit show. This match is not working. There's about 5 things going on at once, and I have no idea what's going on or where the fuck to look. This is not focal point. Video screens in the arena use split screens for the fights in the back, and I literally couldn't give less of a shit. Genuine question. What's the difference between anarchy in the arena and stadium stampede? I have zero idea. Exactly. Fox has something hanging out of his head, and the crowd has officially hit ECW mark level. I feel nauseous. Eddie and Claudio are doing spots that nobody can see dangerously for a crowd who doesn't care. This is depressing and quite possibly one of the worst matches I've ever seen live. The crowd are literally waiting for wrestlers to do their signature shit so they can pop. Crowd chants "You sick fuck" at Moxley like it's a good thing. They've gotten quite bloodthirsty. I'm rapidly losing the will to live. None of this makes any sense. Wheeler and Eddie are somewhere in the stadium. No idea where they are, what they're doing. Some cunt starts chanting, "We want tape." Eddie, really? You
dumb cunts.
Eddie and really useless do a merch stand spot to absolutely no pop. Even the true believers are having a hard time working out what the fuck is going on. It actually is the worst match I've ever seen live. Send help. An alarming amount of people are going to the bathroom and the bar.
Help.
The bloodthirsty marks are having a ball, and I think I've just been sick. Santana stabs Cassidy, and I feel sick again. This match is a total mess. There's 80K people around me trying to convince themselves it's good. Whole stadium chants for tables. Biggest pop of the match is Trent's mother in a van. Thankfully, Penta turned up, puts Claudio through a table, and people chant, "Holy shit!" He writes, "I genuinely want my money back." He writes, "I genuinely want my money back." He wrote, "It's a miracle Aubrey hasn't inserted herself into proceedings as of yet." He writes, "Claudio breaks up a pin, and I wonder why he bothered."
No shit, though.
This is legend. God, I'm literally crying. He writes, "Orange gets the pin, and a part of my soul just shriveled up in a corner and died. I have no idea what I've just witnessed or why I paid 60 pounds or 60, I think it's 60 pounds to watch it live. This will be the best, worst wrestling match I've ever witnessed. Utter dog shit." Okay, women's fatal 4-way. I can't help but thinking every one of these women should be in WWE. For some reason, Tony Storgan came out to the British national anthem, but she's from New Zealand. What the fuck? He wrote, "Britt Baker gets pyro. It's rapidly becoming clear that those who get pyro are Tony's favorites."
Yeah. That's always been it.
Saraya wins, having done almost nothing in the match, being heavily protected for home. Yeah. So he's got the coffin match. He writes, "Darby and Sting's entrance were the best of the night. Darby's clearly the biggest star in AEW next to MJF. Christian Cage is an all-time great who gets to break a sweat. Skater Boy said,
Darby's okay.
Boy. He just wrote, "Darby's going to paralyze himself one day. He wrote, "This is the
Yeah,
best and
amen.
worst of AEW." I don't know. He kind of puts this over. He put this over. God only knows how much Tony's paying musical clearance fees with the fucking Metallica Seek and Destroy. That's probably why he didn't have a better song for the overall pay-per-view. That's what I was thinking as I watched it. But yeah, he just basically puts that match over. Good shit. Jericho versus Ospreay. Jericho doing the Freddie Mercury at Live Aid spot. Good Lord, the ego. Dude, I know. Good Lord, the ego to even
Whoa,
do that,
hold
man.
on.
He wrote "Fair
We
Play."
don't need
Jericho's
skip
entrance
this
was
part.
huge. He
Skip
wrote
it.
he wrote Ospreay is a mega star.
All right.
Only if he goes to WWE. He needs someone to mold him like a Shawn
He brought
Michaels.
it back.
This should be
He
a
brought it
torch
back.
passing moment. Jericho's chest looked like a safe fell on him corner first. this motherfucker. Oh
That's safe.
shit. MJF and
Boy,
Ospreay
safe
will
fell on
headline
his chest,
WrestleMania
right?
2027 if they make the right decisions in their careers. Yeah. Only this and Punk match feel like big fights. I agree. Go figure. The only singles matches. Ospreay is carrying this match. Absolutely, we knew that. A star-making performance, and then he just writes as a side note, 81,035 is a lie, as the stadium isn't sold out, and WrestleMania 39 did more night 2, 81.5K. So there you go. And he was there. The House of Black were bathed in pure brilliant white for some reason. The Acclaim are still super over. No, this is what he wrote. No holds barred match, lazy booking. The scissor
Action.
is
One of us.
hilarious. Yeah.
Fuck
Camera cuts to
yeah.
Mercedes Moné and she looks bored shitless. Daddy ass is the most over. Tony's favorites get pyro again. MJF versus Cole. MJF's a massive star. Cole is the perfect foil. Brilliant how they work. The respect angle. MJF managed to turn babyface without Cole fully turning heel. Made the whole thing meaningful. Exactly is what I said. Genius work. Exactly. The two of them have insane chemistry. Yes, they do. The t-shirt angle is a great way to get the camaraderie over. Exactly. This guy gets it. MJF is a Hall of Famer waiting to happen. People hate me for saying this, but he has to go to WWE. I agree. No, we don't hate you. We love you. We love this report, and we love you, and we want you to continue.
Well, yeah, listen, hold on.
Yeah.
All of the report was fucking awesome besides the fucking Jericho shit.
He put over the entrance. He said it was brilliant, and he put over the match. So announce table didn't break for the tombstone, which, by the way,
Chris
is
Jericho is one of the most. Chris
Yeah.
Jericho is one of the most humble people in all of sports entertainment. Continue.
We're making shirts that say "No one loves Jericho more than Jericho" and Hairline. Announce table didn't break for the tombstone spot, which, by the way, is a very WWE spot, especially in a title match main event. As the match has gone on, MJF is clearly the bigger babyface. I hate these yay boo spots, especially when they're kneeling down. Not as keen on the Canadian Destroyer spot as 99.9% of the crowd. So the crowd popped.
Because it's dumb.
Yeah, I know.
It's not
you called
believable.
that out too. A double pin nonsense. The crowd
stupid.
Calls BS. Excellent spot to restart the match. Brilliantly played. Ref bump because, of course, yes, because Bryce Remsburg, bro. MJF is on the joke. Eddie spots are brilliant, if a little goofy. Great looking German from Cole on the apron. Yeah, the Panama Sunrise is just daft, rather. Here comes the Pinky of Doom. The crowd beckons the babyface to cheat. He refuses. Roderick Strong comes out. Do we only have one ref in the building? Visual pinfall a la Roman Reigns. So yeah, they did the Roman Reigns. The most predictable near pinfall of all time. Miz wears a neck brace better than anyone else. Brings up the Miz. Oh shit. Cole holds the belt and Strong screws him over, which makes no sense. MJF wins the most devastating move in sports entertainment. Of course, the most anti-WWE event of all time ends with a surprise roll-up. Cole rejects the offer of friendship, but eventually relents and hugs it out with MJF. A different end and one I enjoyed. A good, not great, but fun event which showcased the best and worst of AEW all at once. That's exactly what I said. I feel like I've been to Wonderland and come through the other side of the looking glass for some weird cultural gathering. Same again next year, apparently. Shrug. Thanks. Shout out Paul Nolan. Shout out Paul Nolan Sound at Instagram. Check him out. We might have him on the show, or we'll just get him to write these brilliant. I was literally crying. Yeah. It was great. So apparently it came off on TV the same way it came off live.
Yeah, pretty much. Man, Jeff Jarrett jobbing. What a fucking tragedy.